It was a humid August afternoon in Charleston, South Carolina, 2024, when Marla's piercing shriek echoed through our quiet cul-de-sac. She stood in our driveway like a frenzied drill sergeant, jabbing a manicured finger at my wife, Claire, while two HOA security guards shuffled nervously behind her. Claire, cool as steel, reached into her purse and pulled out a leather badge case. Marla's tirade didn't falter. She was mid-rant, threatening to have Claire arrested for unloading boxes from our charity van when Claire's voice cut through, sharp and steady. "You are detaining a state law enforcement commissioner." Marla blinked, baffled. Claire turned to the guards. "I signed your badges. I know your names. Call your supervisor now." The air shifted. Marla's jaw dropped, the guards froze, and the neighbors gawking from their lawns gasped in unison. The queen of the HOA had just stepped into a trap she couldn't charm her way out of, and this showdown was about to unravel her empire. Drop your wildest HOA tales in the comments and tell me where you're reading from. This story of power, defiance, and justice will grip you to the end. We'd moved to this Charleston neighborhood, with its palmetto-lined streets and marsh views, seeking a peaceful haven for our son to grow up in. After months of planning, we'd chosen a corner lot with ancient live oaks and a breeze that carried the scent of salt. The HOA seemed typical: polished signs, pristine lawns, newsletters touting potlucks and garden tips. But lurking behind the pleasantries was Marla, the HOA president, a dictator in pearls who ruled with a clipboard and a vendetta. She ambushed us the moment our moving truck arrived, thrusting a highlighted bylaw packet into my hands, our names scrawled in marker. "These rules apply to everyone," she snapped, eyeing Claire's state ID badge clipped to her bag. "Especially those who think they're above them." I chuckled, thinking it was a jest. Marla's glare said otherwise. From that day, she made us her obsession. Marla's harassment was relentless. She nitpicked our trash can placement, left passive-aggressive notes on our mailbox for violations like an unapproved welcome mat, and once measured our porch steps with a tape measure at dusk. The breaking point came on a Thursday when Claire organized a drop-off for a local homeless shelter. Blankets, canned goods, and hygiene kits were to be unloaded from our van for delivery that weekend. As we worked, Marla materialized, arms crossed like a vengeful statue. She stormed over, filming on her phone, accusing us of obstructing access and running an unpermitted business. Claire explained it was nonprofit work. Marla sneered. "You think charity exempts you from rules?" Then she summoned HOA security to uneasy guards in ill-fitting polos. What happened next was a masterclass in hubris meeting its match. Marla ordered the guards to detain Claire, threatening police action. The guards hesitated, exchanging wary glances. Claire flipped open her badge, revealing her title, Director of State Law Enforcement Commissioning. "I approve your credentials," she said icily. "If you don't call your supervisor, you'll be under investigation by morning." The guards paled. Marla laughed, calling it a bluff, but one guard dialed his boss, whose voice crackled through, confirming Claire's authority. The crowd, neighbors, joggers, a kid on a scooter, recorded it all. Marla, floundering, accused Claire of faking her badge. Claire ignored her, packed the last box, and said, "We're done. Let's go inside." We left Marla fuming as phones captured her defeat. By nightfall, a neighbor's video hit Reddit's r/public freakout. HOA Marla tries to arrest state official. It exploded, racking up thousands of views. Memes captioned, "Marla versus the law, bad bet," and "Clipboard Queen meets real power" flooded the internet. Marla's email to the community, claiming a misunderstanding and accusing Claire of political stunts, only fanned the flames. The irony? She'd been the one filming. The next morning, the sheriff called not to question us, but to apologize. He knew Claire professionally and praised her restraint, then asked if she'd brief his deputies on HOA overreach. The request stunned us. Marla's antics weren't just petty, they were a systemic issue now under scrutiny. Claire agreed, sensing a bigger fight ahead. That night, on our porch overlooking the marsh, she smirked. She tried to arrest me. I replied, "Wrong driveway, Marla." The neighborhood woke to a tense hush. Neighbors who'd avoided us now nodded warily. One dropped off muffins, whispering she'd waited for someone to challenge Marla. Another grumbled about fines for visible garden tools. Marla's retaliation was swift. She issued a new rule banning driveway unloading without HOA approval clearly aimed at us. Claire didn't bite. Instead, she made quiet calls to state regulators, pulling HOA bylaws and compiling neighbor complaints. The sheriff called again, livid that residents statewide were reporting similar HOA abuses. Claire offered to lead a law enforcement seminar on the issue, set for days later. Marla had no idea the storm brewing. Then a guard from the incident, Ethan, knocked on our door, contrite. Marla lied, he said. She called you a threat, said you were running a scam. He admitted she'd threatened his job and revealed Marla had ordered patrols targeting our house, with cameras angled at our windows. Claire's jaw tightened. That's illegal surveillance. Ethan provided a written statement, exposing Marla's pattern, targeting dissenters, faking violations, editing footage to incriminate residents. Claire drafted a formal audit request for the HOA's practices, attaching neighbor complaints that poured in post-video. The HOA's lawyer, blindsided, responded with a curt review underway, signaling panic. Marla, undeterred, marched to our house, snapping photos of our mailbox and porch light, claiming aesthetic violations. Claire watched silently, letting Marla's desperation show. Marla's allies, led by a blustery retiree named Frank, tried to flex power. Frank, self-styled compliance chief, demanded to inspect our property. Claire shut him down. Unless you're state licensed, you're trespassing. He fled, papers scattering. Then we spotted a car across the street, a man with binoculars, scribbling notes. Claire reported it to her federal liaison, citing possible stalking and wiretap violations. Marla was crossing into criminal territory. Claire's final call to the state commission triggered a formal investigation into HOA misconduct, set to collide with the upcoming board meeting where Marla planned her last stand. The meeting felt like a courtroom showdown. Residents packed the community center, clutching old fines and muttering. Marla strode in, blazer straining, clipboard raised, declaring her authority. But her voice wavered as murmurs grew. Mid-agenda, Claire stood unprompted. I don't need permission to address misconduct, she said, holding a folder. She detailed Marla's abuses, fake citations, illegal surveillance, impersonation, announcing a state investigation. Gasps rippled. Claire asked, who's been fined unfairly? Hands shot up. Filmed without consent. More rose. Marla's face drained. Ethan stepped forward, reading texts proving Marla ordered targeted patrols. The crowd roared. Marla screamed, lies, but Claire handed the HOA lawyer damning screenshots. A city official, invited by Claire, confirmed an audit and suspended Marla's authority. The room erupted. Marla stood, clipboard trembling, silent as residents stormed out, liberated. Neighbors swarmed Claire, offering thanks and hugs. Frank, deflated, apologized, admitting Marla's pressure. Claire handed him a legal warning and let him go. Marla vanished, her house dark, car gone. Rumors swirled. She'd fled to her relatives, lawyered up, or gone off-grid. The viral video drew news coverage, exposing HOA abuses statewide. Claire's interview focused on reform, not revenge. The interim board, guided by Claire, rewrote bylaws for transparency. A Democratic election saw a teacher, Rosa, win presidency. At the swearing-in, Claire stood by Rosa as neighbors cheered, waving signs reading freedom. Weeks later, a typed confession arrived from Marla, admitting overreach but dodging apology. A state letter followed. Marla was fined, barred from HOA roles for a decade, and ordered to fund a new community safety system. Claire filed it away, unmoved. Our block party music, food trucks, laughter felt like a new era. Claire's speech thanked the community, not Marla's downfall. Kids skated freely, gardens bloomed unchecked. A teen's drawing of Claire as a hero hung in our den. Marla's reign was history, her clipboard powerless against a badge and truth. Was Marla a misguided control freak or a malicious tyrant? Should Claire have exposed her privately to avoid public shaming? Could neighbors have united sooner? Was Marla's punishment fair or too lenient? Share your thoughts below, and if you love this tale of justice over tyranny, like and subscribe for more. I've got stories.